Hi, my name's Hannibal. I'm Head of Operations at IG, and today we're going to be talking about brand guidelines. So having a defined brand is really important so that people can recognise you, recognise your business, and start to form positive, hopefully, associations with who you are and what you do. It's important to understand your brand's tone of voice, style, and visual elements, and to have all of that codified in one place so that you, your team, external agencies all have an idea of what represents you. So what do you need to include in your brand guidelines document? Well, the first thing would be really simply rules about the usage of colour, your logo and fonts, just to give the baseline for what the visual elements of your brand look like. More sophisticated brand guidelines might include particular distinctive visual elements, repeated motifs and such like, but really the core of brand guidelines just needs to be colours, fonts and logo usage. The second thing that many brand guideline documents include is a section on tone of voice. So whether your brand is informal or very professional, sometimes it's helpful to have an example of this in writing so that people can immediately read a section of copy and understand how it is that you would like to present yourselves. The third element would be a bank of imagery or iconography. So if you have some examples of approved images, things that suit your brand, or better still, a bank of pre-approved imagery. That means that whenever people are making new documents, they're not straying from the visual style that you've created already. They are using images that have already been signed off and approved as appropriate for your brand. Similarly, with icons, it's often a temptation when you're trying to encapsulate a new distinctive concept to go and grab an icon from the web, but that usually means that it won't be consistent with the ones that you've already created that are used in your other documents. So having a bank of icons that represent all the common things that your business tends to talk about can make sure that people are using the same images each time to represent the same concepts. Final thing that's really important in your brand guidelines is your logo. Most brand guideline documents will include a section on how to use your logo, which is usually rules around spacing to give around it, and whether to use, for example, alternate versions of the logo on a dark background, that kind of thing. Along with that, it's really handy when you're sharing your brand guidelines to share a folder with those versions of the logo, both the default version and any other landscape or stretched or alternate colour versions of it for different contexts and places. That means that whoever is creating documents for you, whether that's internally or externally, isn't tempted to mess around with the logo themselves, try and create alternate versions, that they have the approved correct versions on file that they can use. Lots of our clients come to us with maybe a template, some colours, a website, some fonts, but without a sort of single unified, codified brand guidelines document. Without going into a full rebranding exercise, it can be really helpful to take what you do have and write it down in a single place. That helps us as an agency refer to what the correct rules are for your brand. It also helps you decide what you like and don't like, and make sure that all your documents really do look consistent. If you'd like help making sure your documents are consistent or producing formatting guides and brand guidelines from your templates, we'd love to help. Get in touch with me directly on LinkedIn or via email.